This video is showing the model browser. You can use the model browser to browse, filter, check and edit your model. The structure of the model browser is similar to the ProSteel Detail Center. You get the parts that are in the model that you see on screen. You get them listed in a tree. The settings that you have are the settings that you know from the Detail Center. You have a general setting for the display as groups or as single parts or both, and you have the option to define your own criteria to sort the tree using the user-defined setting here. And there's an option to use a display filter that's filtering the parts that get displayed. The tool has display functions. The tool has editing functions that allow to edit the material of groups and parts, and the group has a function to allocate the detail styles either of single parts or of groups. And there's a filter function that allows you to sort the model according to one of the properties that exist in the model, in the parts of the model, and then use either string search or a search that includes values depending on the type of property used to filter the tree. Selecting a part in the tree, the zoom scale function and the show only selected function help locating the part in the model. The show only selected function has an extension that's group complete, which when selected is always showing complete groups, even if only a part or 2 or 3 parts of the groups are selected. The tree is a standard window tree, so you can use the control keys to add parts, to add nodes to your selection, or you can use the shift key to add a complete range. Selecting the model is always restoring the initial state of the selection. There are 2 more functions. Select parts is a kind of reverse search. You select a part in the model, enter, and you get it shown in the tree. You get the location of the part shown in the tree, and the zoom scale and the show only selected functions work as well with this command. Then there's also this material group button that's toggling between the display of the model depending on the materials that exist in the model and the display of the model as groups. I'll show changing material now. In this model we have, for instance, S235JR that I think should not be in there, and we see we have straight pipes, we have arc pipes, and we have bend plates in there. I'll show what happens. I'll update again, and then we should only have the S235 in there listed, and now I'll change it to the Q235B. All I have to do is I have to select the node or the parts under the node and then change to. I have to confirm that, and the material is changed. Opposed to ProSteel, where this would take 3 commands because there are 3 different types of objects involved, or if we would have the whole range of objects it would be 6 or 7. The tool is doing this in one run. I update, I'll regenerate again and update again to get the initial selection. Go to material group again. I'll show the filter function, as I'll show it with some criteria, I'll start with group type. Group type is a structure that a client uses, the client that this version of the model browser is customized for. He's allocating types of groups as group names, types that are defined in a file. And so for instance, we have all his gratings just have the name, the group name grating. Look at this one here. Or yes, properties, data grating, or the kickplate's name, group name is kickplate. Also customized A type, that's a range of typical parts that the client uses in all his projects. For instance, the bend plates and the bows that are for the handrail, parts that connect the kick plates to the post of the handrail, safety gates and so on. And all these parts have a group position number that starts with an A, and therefore they are listed here as A types. We could do a string search here now. For instance, we could try to look for all group types that have an I as a part of their name. And we get grating, frame, handrail, kick plate. Other searches. It's working. For instance, the key of shapes, and that's also a string search. Using L asterisk, for instance, should filter all L shapes, or pipe asterisk will filter all pipes. We could have, for instance, a look at the mirrored. That's an additional function that's not existing in the detail center, that shows you which parts, or it could show you which parts in the model are mirrored and which ones not. Then of course there is a search for position numbers that has two different kind of settings. The first one is sorting the model according to the group position numbers, and depending on the amount of parts of groups that share a number, you have them listed. Some of them a lot, some just one. And if you use groups here, then we could use a search for either a range of groups, for instance, groups that are bigger than 4900, whose group position number is bigger than 4900. And then we could search for groups whose number is smaller than 4930, and the filtering would get continued. Or we could look for a specific number in this range now, which, let's say 4915. And we get 4915 here, and the zoom scale and the show only selection also help seeing the part here in the model. What else? We could, for instance, as an example for a value that for a criterion that involves a value length, we could look for parts that are, let's say, equal 4000. Maybe there's something that's exists that's exactly 4000 millimeters long, and funny, yeah, there is something, and I think it's kick plates, Let's check just for the fun of it. I mean, that's because it has to be exactly 4000. And yeah, true. Or we could look for parts that are just longer than 4000. And here they are. So much for the model browser. If you're interested in other tools that we made, or if you like to get a tool customized, please have a look at our webpage. There you will also find contact information.